Hey guys, welcome to Melanin United. And yeah, I'm finally making a video. I know it's been a while, but I've been telling myself I gotta be consistent for you guys. I miss you guys, and just, giving information from a African standpoint, a Pan-African standpoint, a black person, a melanated person, We gotta give our perspective and the truth because we know how the white media lie and propagandize against us. So, what we're going to talk about today is the military coup that happened in the Niger on July 26th. So, the military coup in Niger that happened is a great thing. Great thing for Niger. It's a great thing for us because the people of Niger are speaking. The youth are speaking. Mass number of people are speaking out, coming out. They're against French colonialism, the European imperialism, U.S. imperialism, and all their military affairs and their military bases in Niger, stealing uranium, stealing gold, and while Niger, 85% of Niger is without electricity, all of France is powered, or most of all of France is powered with electricity, and most of that uranium comes from the Niger. The European Union get 25% of their electricity nuclear power plants from the Niger. So the Niger is 85% non-electricity, no electricity, but it's powering 20% of Europe, 70% of France. The U.S. It's making nuclear bombs for the U.S. The U.S. steal uranium from the Niger for their nuclear bombs, and then also the gold extraction. Right now, France has one of the top five, top seven, their top five, top seven in most gold in the world. And how is that possible when France does not even have no gold mine? Because that gold's coming from the Niger. So this coup is a great thing for us. This coup is a great thing for us, family, because our brothers and sisters are tired. Like, what did you think? You could keep bullying people, you could keep exploiting, stealing people's resources, and leaving them with nothing while you're gaining all the wealth? It was gonna come sooner or later. You see what happened to the French in Mali? The Mali military junta kicked them out. General Goita kicked them out. You see what happened. You see what happened to them in Guinea. You see what happened to them in Chad. You see what happened to them in Burkina Faso, the land of the upright people. Shout out Thomas Sankara, one of the greatest Pan-Africanists. And now you got their new military leader and new president, Mo Ibrahim, who is starting to sound like Thomas Sankara, and I love that. We should be proud. Real Pan-African. He's talking about us uniting, ditching this imperialist, colonialist beast. These insects, these parasites, these parasitical people that cannot leave Africa alone. Putting their military bases all over. These people all they know is exploit, imperialist domination. So people are tired, man. Black people are tired of this. Africans are tired of this. Melanated people are tired of this. And the revolution looking like it's gonna start. So what's happening in Niger is a good thing. And now you got all the white media, Global News, BBC, CNN, ABC, Al Jazeera, DW, France 24, they're all crying, saying the government of Niger is illegitimate, just like they said the same thing with Mali, Burkina Faso. But you see, everything that they do, because you know how much coups that the Europeans have done in Africa? They've done about 67 coups in the past 50, 60 years. And in 27 countries, 26, 27 countries. 16 of those countries were French colonies. So the French have been involved in pretty much the most coups, the most assassinations of African leaders. So now isn't it ironic? I told you, everything they do to us, and wherever we are, whichever white government it is, everything they do to us, it comes to them worse. The French have committed atrocities in Africa, assassinated the most African presidents, have committed the most coups in Africa, and now you see everything is coming right back. All the coups, in the 2-3 years, all these coups have been former French colonies, Chad, Central African Republic, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea. So now they're getting their own taste of medicine, and they don't like it. France threatened. They try to do it subtly. They try to say France is gonna protect its interests and do everything to defend its interests. They're threatening military confrontation if the Niger coup, because they want the Nigerians to reinstate their puppet, sellout slave president Mohamed Bazoum, that does anything for the French, that allows them to exploit, steal the gold, steal the uranium for cheap and even free. No. So the French, the U.S., all the European allies, European nations, EU, they're trying to say Mohamed Bazoum must be reinstated. They've cut aid. Europe has cut aid. America's still trying not to call it a coup, because if they call it a coup, then they have to, by law, take their soldiers, evacuate, all that. America has about 1,000 soldiers in there. France has 15. America has 1,000 soldiers in there. France has 1,500 soldiers in there, and probably even close to 2,000. They don't want to leave. So, but they're very nervous right now. They're just like, oh, what's gonna happen? And even like I said, I made a video before of Ecowas, that coon puppet organization that's controlled by the French and the U.S., especially the French. When we know Ecowas is the Economic Community of West Africa States. Most of those presidents are puppets controlled by the Europeans, and most of them are controlled by the French. Nigeria's president, which I told you guys, he's not the legit president of Nigeria, because the Europeans, I made a video about this specifically, the Europeans are going to interfere in Nigeria's election, because the president of Nigeria is supposed to be Obi, but now it's Ebola Tinubu, which is a U.S. puppet, a European puppet, sellout slave. How are you going to try to give the Niger a week or 2 weeks, a week to reinstate a puppet's president that's gonna keep letting the French exploit them? You're trying to give them a week to reinstate that puppet slave president, or you're gonna intervene militarily? You are gonna go attack brothers and sisters in the neighboring country of Niger militarily, because they didn't want to reinstate a puppet president that was letting the Europeans continue colonization. Does that make sense? That's how you know this slave is working for the Europeans. And most of those governments too are working for the Europeans. So, but I knew it was gonna happen. The Nigerian citizens did not let that happen. Nigerian senates were saying, no, we don't want to. We don't want to go military confrontation, because that can trigger to a whole regional destabilization. Because as as Pan-Africanist philosophy, Mali, Burkina Faso, and even Guinea said, if ECOWAS attacks, if U.S. attacks, if France attacks, any foreign interventions in the Niger will be a declaration of war against Mali and Guinea and Burkina Faso. So they got scared of that. That statement right there, that scared them for sure. So I'm very proud of my brothers and sisters for doing that. We need to do that all the time, where they try to bully an individual country. This is why they don't want us to unite. They're so scared if we unite, because what are they going to do? 1.5 billion people, and we know that's a lie. We know it's about, I know it's a lie. I know we have 2 or more billion people, but whatever, we'll just say 1.5 billion for now. But yeah, so ECOWAS did not intervene militarily, but also they were trying to say that the Europeans were telling them to say you're going to intervene militarily, because that was the umbrella they're saying to cover under. The U.S. and France would have really been the one intervening. But they know they can't say that, because there's going to be a rise against colonialism all over Africa if they're saying these white armies were going to come intervene just to protect their interests, which is stealing the uranium and gold. So they had to use ECOWAS as their cover-up, but when really the U.S. and France were going to intervene. And doesn't mean it's over. France is still planning to intervene, I promise you guys. The French are very brutal, aggressive, and savages. If you look at their history and even what they're doing present day, what their pact of colonialism we talked about, they have 12, 14 West African countries paying taxes up to $500 billion to France. Their banks are all their banks is in the central bank of France. They don't, their money goes in France, and 85% of it, and they can only get a little bit of it, and if they want more, it comes with interest, which makes no sense. France gets any exploration, any minerals they find in those West African countries, those 12 to 14 countries, the CFA countries. France gets first priorities to if to steal those resources and take them. France must France must have military bases in these countries. All these is the pact of the continuation of pact of colonialism. That's what the French made them sign. But like what's happening to France is their karma. It's their payback. They're getting kicked out of Africa, and I'm here for it. Now we need to continue kicking the French all out of Africa. Then we need to kick the British all out of Africa. The British is very quiet. We need to kick the British all out of Africa. The Germans, all the European armies, and the U.S. We need to kick all of them out of Africa. So it's an interesting situation. Niger has closed their airspace. Their airspace is closed. You've even had U.S. diplomats, whatever her name, Newland, that white girl, that's very demonish, try to go talk to on behalf of the U.S. to try to talk to Niger to slow down, and what's the way we can find to put your puppet slave president back in charge so we can keep stealing. Nope, it didn't go too well, which I am proud of. Let's keep going, Niger. Do not compromise. Do not listen to these devils. They don't know how to behave with Africans. They don't know how to make fair deals. They do not know how to make fair deals. And if you gotta work with Russia to help defend, which is it's good, help defend what's it called, your nation, because if, let's say, Ecowas attacks, they're gonna be using U.S. weapons and French weapons. You know what I mean? So that's when you need to get Russian weapons and get the Wagner group, yeah. But we can't depend too much on them. While they help us a bit, we can help them too. Obviously, that's fair. But in the meanwhile, we need to unite. So, for example, we need Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, and Niger unite. That's perfect. And then we got the East African communities unite, SADC, and then the citizens will lash out, and we're gonna call out and shame those other puppet presidents in West Africa so they can work for the people, and then we unite together, and then these Europeans cannot bully us or tell us anything. We gotta. The colonizer is getting out, no matter how they like it or not. They're trying to kick, scream, cry. No, you're leaving. You're not taking our resources for dirt cheap anymore, or unrefined. We're gonna manufacture we're gonna refine our resources, process it, manufacture it, make industries, and sell it to you at market rate. You're not gonna be able to steal no more, and you don't like that. You want to keep exploiting Africa, but that's not gonna happen for too much longer. So shout out to the Niger people. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in Mali for helping them. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in Guinea for standing with them. Shout out to my brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso. And shout out to our brothers and sisters all over Africa that stand with Niger, and all over the world. Our brothers and sisters, we stand with Niger. And yeah, we're always going to stand with Niger. If anything, we will want to die for the Niger. I'll die for Niger. These colonizers never want to leave people alone. Just leave people the hell alone. Alright, thanks guys. We're listening. Like, comment, subscribe.